All right, I have a confession to make. I have not used the pasta attachments I bought for my KitchenAid stand mixer like 2 years ago because I was a scaredy boy. Well, that's gonna stop today. We're gonna go along together, see what some of the pitfalls are of trying this for the first time might be, and please, if you have any suggestions or tips, put them in the comments below. All right, it's hot outside. Let's go. Does anyone else enjoy the sound of eggs rolling on a countertop, or is it just me? Our main ingredients are going to be the flour and the eggs for this dough. Speaking of which, this is 00 flour. It's very soft and very finely ground, perfect for pasta. We're gonna mix that with some semolina, exact amounts in the description below before we mix it in the bowl with a spoon. Next thing, we're gonna sift it through and make a nice mound here, get everything nice and smooth, no lumps, makes your life a little easier. And we can actually use this sieve to start our well. We're gonna press it down into the mound just like so, getting prepared to make the well for the eggs. All right, with our fingertips, we're just gonna go in a circular motion, bringing it all the way down to the counter so there's plenty of room for the 7 eggs I'm using. You want 1 egg per 100 grams of flour, so we got about 700 grams of flour, 7 eggs. And you can kind of spread it out a little bit, push and shove until you have a nice wide clearance. Just make sure that nothing looks weak. Make sure you have some nice walls ready to receive the eggs. All right, once you're happy with it and you think it'll fit everything, go ahead and start dumping in your eggs carefully. And you're gonna wanna stick your fork right in the center of the eggs and start going in circles. I discovered that while flicking in little bits of flour like this, staying in the middle, just like this right here, is your best bet. Don't do anything fancy. I did, and you'll see the consequences I faced shortly. Now, this lift I do right here is where I made a mistake. Look at that bottom wall. It's about ready to give. Don't do anything fancy. Just start tossing flour slowly into middle and stir, just like this. Keep it simple, keep it safe. Or this could happen to you too. But we're not gonna give up in the name of exploration here. I'm just gonna start throwing flour in, and I'm gonna use my scraper just to push everything towards the flour. It will be okay, it just will be a mess. See, what did I tell you? It's fine. Saved the day. Brought out my metal scraper because it works better, and I'm just gonna start pushing everything together. It takes a long time for this to hydrate. That's one of the things you'll notice is how dry this dough really is. So we're just gonna keep pushing and folding over just like you saw. Push in, just like that, until it starts to come together into this kind of mass. And you'll see I'm putting down a lot of body weight on this, trying to knead this. It's tough, man. But shall we be rewarded? We will find out. All right, things are starting to come together, but it's not smooth yet. I'm just gonna keep trying my best to knead this as hard as it is to do. Maybe I should have used an extra egg. I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments if you know the answer. I'm going to take a chapter about what I've learned from bread so far, and if it's getting tough, if it's not coming together, we're just going to give it a nice rest under a bowl. All right, now it's about as smooth as I can get it, so I'm going to start using the tension of the dough against the countertop to form it into a nice taut ball. This might take some time considering how low the hydration is on this. Left a little seam on the side there, but I think it's okay because it's not like bread. We're not rising. We're just gonna keep pulling it on the countertop, trying to make that ball as tight as we can before we give it a nice rest in the fridge. All right, now that we're wrapping it up in plastic, we're gonna let it chill out in the fridge for 30 minutes and we'll see it soon. All right, after taking it out of the fridge, take your bench scraper and divide into 3 equal pieces from the center. Now, if you don't divide them quite so perfectly as me, one of them will have a butt, just like this one. All right, I'm gonna take this really dense dough. I'm gonna freeze these 2, and we're gonna start rolling out the booty one. All right, now my only goal here is just to make something that could fit into the attachment on the lowest setting. There's various thicknesses that we're going to do. So once we are to the right size, I kind of just eyeballed it. We'll just go ahead, and I actually cut part of this off just to make sure it would fit through the feeding hole. All right, now don't be shy. Flour it up a little bit. Otherwise, it may stick to the roller. Just feel the dough a little bit before you start doing that. And then you get to do the cool chef thing and feel like you know stuff and look cool. All right, and we're gonna pass it through 3 times on each setting. So the higher the number goes, the thinner and longer it's gonna get. So we're gonna start with the lowest of 0. After 3 times, work our way up. Repeat the process till you get to about 3 or 4. Now, keep an eye on how I use both my hands here. If you're using a stand mixer like this where it's suspended in the air, you're gonna wanna support both sides of this. And I mean, at this point, it's getting longer and longer. I feel like if I could go back, I would have divided this into 2 pieces and maybe kept going from there. This almost doesn't even fit on the counter anymore, but we're gonna keep going. All right, we're moving forward with this spaghetti attachment. We're gonna get it nice and secured in there. And with the magic of jump cuts, I am cutting these into portions with my bench knife like this. I don't know what the exact length should be for spaghetti, but this looked about right for me, and I'm just gonna go for it. This is one of the most satisfying things, watching it come out, is rounded noodles. And you see I have some stray pieces that fell through there. I think my sheets were a little too wide, but hey, you know what? Not too bad. I'm proud of myself. So we're just gonna twist this into a nest and repeat the process 2 more times to get those sheets nice and formed. And here is my first plate of homemade spaghetti. Thanks again for tuning into my channel. This is the beginning of a series. Next time we're gonna do sauce, and then we're gonna have kind of a grand finale of sorts on episode 3. So thanks again for tuning in. Exact amounts and equipment will be in the description below. Take care and have a good night.